Hi guys, thought I'd grab one of the offices here for a few minutes just to show you some of the latest models that have come through of Hornby's 00 gauge Kings. Now, these are available on our bargain range at the moment. They're an absolutely fantastic model of a really famous steam loco that's out there. So about 20 minutes, we'll cover a bit of the history of the locos, really take a closer look at the models as well, see some of the finer details in there too. We have got a live chat on today's video as well. If you look over on the right of the screen, I think it is. So take a look over there. If you have any questions about these models at all, I'll keep an eye on the chat and we'll make sure you get to know all there is to know, essentially. So thanks for joining us as well, Big Boy. Good to see your comment in there. If any more of you would like to comment on this video too, as said, do use that live chat. But let's get stuck in with these because this is the creme de la creme of GWR locomotives. A lot of you out there will be fans of the Great Western Railway, and this is as big as it got. These aren't just the biggest Great Western locomotives from the time. These were the most powerful Great Western steam locomotives ever built. So you can see a few more of you joining there now as well. Thanks for joining, guys. Glad you can join us. And it is on your right as well. So you're absolutely spot on there. So do use that chat feature. But going back to the locos, these were built in the late 1920s. First ones brought through in 1927 as a bit of a response to the Southern Railway's Lord Nelson locomotive. So the Great Western initially had the most powerful steam locos in the UK with the Castles in the early 1920s. Didn't last too long with the Maunsell-designed Lord Nelsons coming into the Southern Railway. So, of course, the Great Western Railway had to reclaim their crown, hence the King. They weren't always the Kings, though. They weren't going to be cathedrals to start off with. But the Baltimore and Ohio Railway in the USA wanted one for a display for its centenary in 1927. So the Kings were known as the Kings, and 31 of them were built over the time. One of them was actually a replacement for a locomotive that was destroyed in a crash, but otherwise, all of them were built to be the most powerful locos on the Great Western Railway network. So I'll just have a quick look at the comments there. Again, got a few people coming through already. Fantastic. Glad to have you here, Jonathan and Graham as well. So some really nice models we've got here. Let's go into the liveries a little bit. We have got some questions regarding those. So this model does come in pretty much every livery the class has ever carried. So you're starting right away there with the original Great Western livery from the 1920s, coming up into the shirt button era, mid to late 1930s there as well. Heading into BR, you've got the BR Blue. Now, question already on there is what would this have run with? All of the locomotives here, you can see, would have ran with the Colic coaches that we have in stock from Hornby at the moment. The later liveries, such as the BR colour schemes, would have worked with the Hawkswood coaches, which are again available on our website as well. So those Crack Express trains, really big rates of 13 coaches or more, heading through from London into the south of England as well, right through to Penzance. These were the express loco of the Great Western Railway. So a couple of ideas there if you are modelers of the Great Western Railway. But going back to the locos for a second, these remained at the top of the game until the 1960s. You might be able to see the slight difference here, and I will just try and zoom in on for you as well, see what I can do with the technology. Here we go. So you can just see the difference at the front there, where that's got the double chimney as opposed to the single chimney of the others. That was something that started in 1955. So they actually rebuilt them to be even more powerful. Well, the most powerful locomotive got more powerful, essentially. And then they ran right through until 1962. You got innovation today as well. So those of you who model preserved railway layouts, you've got the choice of number 6000, King George V, 6023, Edward II, which is actually that model there as well, and 6024 Edward I as well. So really good bit of history on these, probably the most well-known of the Great Western locos out there. There's one in the National Collection, which just shows you how important a loco it is as well. So hopefully that gives you a couple of bits about the real importance of the history of these locos as part of the Great Western Railway. Just take another quick look at that chat, see who we've got here and who's joined us. So still haven't got a King class. Well, this is the perfect time to get one, as we have 3 of them available now on bargain prices, which is 6016, 6025 and 6002. All available now for £129 as well. And this is a fully super detailed model. It came out in 2016. So you've got all the bells and whistles, quite literally, that you'd expect on the Locos as well. You've got an 8-pin digital socket in there, NEM couplings, 5-pole motor, some really nice intricate livery application, as you can see here too. So if you've not got a King already and you've got a bit of a Great Western collection on the go, this really is the time to get one sorted. I'd fully recommend taking a closer look at these, as I'm doing right now. Okay, let's take a look. So, good to see you there, Brian, with your Kings Lasted Forever, 1927 to 65. Of course, there's still 3 of them around today as well, so they're surviving right through the time periods at the moment, and great for you in modelling preserved layouts too. Graham's asked if it's the same BR Blue one that's in preservation. It's not, no. 602 frees the preserved Loco in BR Blue, but that's nothing that a renumber couldn't sort out if you wanted to buy separate nameplates. Of course, if you did want 602 free, there is a model right here of King Edward II in that initial Great Western livery, if that's the number for you. If it's the livery for you, you can buy this one here, which is King Henry III. So some real regal names on there too. And of course, you may have a member of your family who's got a similar name as well. So SLV 51's asked if there's a ready-to-run Great Bear. Now, not that I've seen, but this is the biggest it gets with Great Western Locos in 00 scale at the moment. So if you really need in that powerhouse, do take a look at these. If you don't have the light in the firebox, that is something that's coming through with Hornby's 2020 Loco range and onwards. But one thing they do have, I've split one up here for you, and I will just again try the zoom function. You can just about see there some of the real cab detail that's featured on these as well. Just taking a look for myself, you've got the separately fitted regulator, and you've got all the gauges in there as well, the firebox controls, the full lot. This really is something that it looks like you could climb in and drive, to be quite honest with you. And that's matched by the tender detail there as well. You can see the separate coal doors too. One important point to mention is you've got a bar connection on that there. I'll just lower that a little bit down so you can see. And of course, you've got pickups on all the wheels as well. That's including the bogie and the tender wheels as well. So all-wheel pickup, full level of details on there. And one question that's just come through from Flying Scott is, what's the minimum radius? Now, we do recommend a minimum of 2nd for these. Well, to be honest, I really recommend 3rd with that separately pivoting bogie on there as well. But you can get them round 2nd radius. As long as you take it slow, you'd be absolutely fine on 2nd. So really do recommend that there. Hello to Big Boy as well. Glad you could join us. Of course, if you have got comments, do bring them through in the chat on that side of the screen, I do believe. So make sure you get them in there too. But there really is just a mix of details on these at the moment. And if they've really got around the Great Western region as well, they're mainly known, for those who aren't quite so familiar, the Great Western ran from London, Paddington, mainly down to the southwest of England through places such as Bristol and Exeter, right down to the tip of Cornwall in Penzance. And these Locos would have ran right down to Plymouth. Unfortunately, they were a little bit too heavy to get into Cornwall, but they really did haul those express trains over the steep banks through Devon, names such as Rattery Bank and places like that, with huge rates of coaches behind them. Nothing else could perform to this level. And Hornby's model performs exactly the same way. That huge, powerful 5-pole motor in there as well, all-wheel pickup, so you can handle those large Great Western coach rates with ease. So really good haulage capacity in there. But they did get a little further as well. They ran up to Birmingham, Wolverhampton, even right up into the northwest where we are, with Birkenhead having a Great Western Railway service that saw all 31 of these locomotives throughout their lives as well. So great opportunities to get them, maybe a little bit outside the usual remit there. But if you're a modeller who's got a West Midlands layout or an LMS layout, you can just about squeeze in a King as well. So some great opportunities to get. Let's have a little bit of a look at that chat again and see what we've got. So Flying Scott says, simple yard layout, they wouldn't create problems. If you've got set track points in there, if you've got the small pico radius points, as long as you're going slow, you shouldn't have any problems at all really there. If you are operating a full express brake at express speeds, we'd recommend something, maybe 3rd radius, a little bit more in there. But if you want to get it around a depot layout or even a small shunting plank, you should have no issues as long as you've got either the set track points or radius too. in there as well. So they do not have a flywheel. And yes, King Ori is a live stream. I'm here live right now. So thanks for joining us and thanks for commenting in the chat as well. If you are watching and you've got questions, do get them in that chat and I'll be happy to answer them while we're taking a closer look. And you've got to take a closer look at these, really. I'm just going to go for that zoom function again there so I can really get some of these close-up details. Just a livery application on these. This is the one that really stands out to me, which is King Henry III in the BR blue. The initial livery of the express locos from the 1950s on British Railways. And just that intricate application there of the full lining. You've got the brass safety valves as well there. And, of course, the copper chimney, which is really familiar for those of you who are fans of Great Western as well. So you've got the separate detailing bag also. Now, in here, you have, well, you've got quite a bit, to be honest, in here, guys. You've got the full brake rigging. You've got a spare NEM coupling. You've got etched number plates for the locomotives. You've also got the cylinder drain tap pipes as well. So those of you who fancy getting a bit of glue out as well can always put the separate details on. You've got a full instruction manual, which comes with details on how to fit all those separate bits, as well as your DCC fitting. It has got an 8-pin socket. It's got huge space in the speaker, for a really big speaker in there as well. So whether you're an analog or a digital modeler, they're just a great model, really, guys. It's one of Hornby's finest, I think, with that really rich Great Western green, or the BR blue, or even into the BR green as well, of the differences with a single and a double chimney as well. And as I mentioned earlier in the stream, 3 of these are available right now for £129 as well, which for a full 460 express locomotive capable of exactly what it is, you're not going to find something that cheap, really, when you shop around. So if you are in the market for a brand new express locomotive, this is the place to look, really. So hope you're enjoying them as much as I am anyway. And we have got a video on our channel of these running as well. So if you want to see them actually proving themselves, you can check out that video if you click through to our YouTube channel. So just take another quick glance at those comments, just seeing what people are thinking. So good to see you here. Thank you very much, Black Mountain. Really glad to be here and showing you these as well. They're a bit of a personal favourite of mine, actually. I'm mainly a diesel person, but I've got a soft spot for these King locomotives, just with the sheer power of them as well. And the prestige from the 1920s. This really was a time when the big 4 railway companies in the UK were fighting to make the most powerful locomotives, the most resplendent. And with these, they're quite a royal locomotive, really. You've got the power there of them being the most powerful locomotive the Great Western Railway ever had. You've got the regal names of the kings. It doesn't get much better for Great Western fans than these locomotives. And Hornby's model's been available for about 3 years now in a couple of different guises, as you see here. And there's obviously chances that they may be bringing out more in the future as well. And if you did want an exact locomotive or an exact number that they've not replicated, these are really easy to change the numbers on. With them being Great Western locomotives, you can place your own number over the number plate, your own nameplate over the nameplate, and you've instantly got your own locomotive there as well. So you're not just restricted to the 4 locomotives we see here. You can make any member of the class you want. So bargain, really. You've got it absolutely spot on there. Really are £129. So do take a closer look. And yes, I tend more towards the diesel side, but I really do have a soft spot for a lot of steam locomotives. To be quite honest, if it's on wheels, I'm interested, really. So it's just absolutely fantastic to be able to get models like this with this sheer quality on them inside and out and show them off to you as well. So I'm trying to think what more else to say, really. You have got, you could speak about these for quite some time, but just the level of detail again. You've got the separate fitted handrails you can see on the rear here as well. I'll just give that zoom another go. See what we can get. You can just about make out the tender handrails there as well. And that's copied all around the locomotives there. You've got full detail right from the front of the buffer beam to the end of the coupling on the rear of the locomotive. They're absolutely perfect to pair with so much rolling stock that's out there at the moment. For the GWR fans, you've got the Collet coaches, which have just come back into stock in the Great Western Chocolate and Cream. If you're going right through to the 1950s with your BR Blue, you can pair them with Hornby's Hawksworth coaches, which we've got available in the Crimson and Cream livery, and the Collet coaches in the same livery as well. If you're going right through to the end of the lives, you head into the late 50s, early 60s, you've got the BR Maroon coaches. So again, you've got your Hawksworths, you've got your Collets, but you've also got your British Rail Mark I there as well, and they're in those maroon liveries. Either way, with quite a few coaches on there, you are recreating the heyday of the express services on the Great Western Railway. You've got the likes of the Pembroke Coast Express on there as well. Can't really think of any more of the names off the top of my head, but the Cambrian Coast Express would have had these locomotives as far as Birmingham before replacing the smaller locos as well. So some of those really famous locomotives and names on the services as well, you can really make for a bargain price. So, as you said, ask away. We have got a few more minutes. Could take a couple more quick questions on these, but we have got our guys in the help desk as well who are really familiar with these as well. So, really is worth a look. Now, again, just to make the point, we have got these available for a bargain price at the moment. So, do take a look because we'll go right through from the construction in 1927 in the original livery into the 30s in the shirt button green, right into the early 1950s with the BR Blue, and then late 1950s, early 1960s with the latest double chimney and the BR Lake Crest as well. So over 30 years of history for these iconic Great Western designs. One of the most famous locos designed by Charles Collet. Of course, he designed the castles as well and the halls, but these for me are the top of the pile. There was nothing more powerful. There was nothing with more of a regal name. I'd argue there was nothing more successful on the Great Western Railway than the Kings. And to get one now, to get one on your layout, they really can be the top of your collection as well as the top of the Great Western pile as well. Thanks for joining us, guys. A little bit short notice, but really glad you could come along. All the links are in the description for all of these Kings and the rolling stock. If there's any questions I've missed, or if you're watching again later and there's something I haven't answered, do get in touch with our guys via our help desk, email and phone. You can send us a message on Facebook. You can reply to this video as well once it's on YouTube, and any more comments will be on there. We've got one more video today as well. If you check out our Facebook page and website, Jack will be appearing in about 20 to 25 minutes time to give you a little bit of a rundown on 009 narrow gauge. So if that's something that's ever tempted you to get into that really growing market and get a narrow gauge layout, either a new layout or, well, add it to your currently existing 00 layout as well. Catch up with Jack in about 20 to 25 minutes time. If you head over to our Facebook page or our website, all the details will be there. Otherwise, really good to see you here, guys. Glad you enjoyed it. Really hope you like the Kings just as much as I have, and I'll see you next time. Take care.